How to unload a ByteArray using Actionscript 3. How do I forcefully unload a ByteArray from memory using Actionscript 3? I have tried the following. First, non-working solution. ByteArray. Length equals 0. ByteArray equals new ByteArray. Second non-working solution. 4. var I. int equals 0. I less than ByteArray. Length. I++. Opening curly bracket. ByteArray. I. Equals null. Closing curly bracket. I don't think you have anything to worry about. If system total memory goes down, you can relax. It may very well be the OS that doesn't reclaim the newly freed memory. In anticipation of the next time Flash Player will ask for more memory, try doing something else that is very memory intensive, and I'm sure that you'll notice that the memory allocated to Flash Player will decrease and be used for the other process instead. As I've understood it, memory management in modern OSs isn't intuitive from the perspective of looking at the amounts allocated to each process, or even the total amount allocated. When I've used my Mac for 5 minutes, 95% of my 3 GB RAM is used. And it will stay that way. It never goes down. That's just the way the OS handles memory. As long as it's not needed elsewhere, even processes that have quit still have memory assigned to them. This can make them launch quicker the next time. For example, I'm not positive about this, but AS3 uses a non-deterministic garbage collection, which means that dereferenced memory will be freed up whenever the runtime feels like it. Typically not unless there's a reason to run, since it's an expensive operation to execute. This is the same approach used by most modern garbage collecting languages, like C# and Java as well. Assuming there are no other references to the memory pointed to by ByteArray or the items within the array itself, the memory will be freed at some point after you exit the scope where ByteArray is declared. You can force a garbage collection, though you really shouldn't. If you do it only for testing. If you do it in production, you'll hurt performance much more than help it. To force a GC, try yes twice. Flash system GC flash system GC. You can read more here. Have a look at this article. http www.gskinnr.com/blogs/archives/2006/as3_resource_ma.html. Yana Actionscript programmer. However, the feeling I'm getting is that because the garbage collector might not run when you want it to. Hence, http www.craftymind.com/2008/04/09/kick-starting-the-garbage-collector-in-Actionscript-3- with So I'd recommend trying out their collection code and see if it helps. Private var gc count. Int. Private function start gc cycle. Void. gc count equals 0. Add event listener. Event. Enter _frame. dogc. Closing curly bracket. Private function dogc. evt. Event. Void. Flash. System. gc. If ++ gc count greater than 1. Opening curly bracket. Remove event listener. Event. Enter _frame. dogc. Set timeout. Last gc. 40. Closing curly bracket. Closing curly bracket. Private function last gc. Void. Flash. System. gc. Closing curly bracket. Unfortunately, when it comes to memory management in Flash Actionscript, there isn't a whole lot you can do. Actionscript was designed to be easy to use, so they didn't want people to have to worry about memory management. The following is a workaround. Instead of creating a ByteArray variable, try this. var ByteObject. Object equals new object. ByteObject. ByteArray equals new ByteArray. Then when you are finished, delete the variable from ByteObject. Delete ByteObject. ByteArray. Where ByteArray is a dynamic property of ByteObject, you can free the memory that was allocated for it. I believe you have answered your own question. System. Total memory gives you the total amount of memory being used, not allocated. It is accurate that your application may only be using 20 megabytes, but it has 5 megabytes that is free for future allocations. I'm not sure whether the Adobe Docs would shed light on the way that it manages memory. So, if I load say 20 megabytes from MySQL, in the task manager the RAM for the application goes up by about 25 megabytes. Then when I close the connection and try to dispose the ByteArray, the RAM never frees up. However, if I use System Total Memory, Flash Player shows that the memory is being released, which is not the case. Is the Flash Player doing something like Java and reserving heap space and not releasing it until the app quits? Well, yes and no. As you might have read from countless blog posts, that the GC in AVM2 is optimistic and will work its own mysterious ways. So it does work a bit like Java and tries to reserve heap space. However, if you let it long enough and start doing other operations that are consuming some significant memory, it will free that previous space. You can see this using the profiler overnight with some tests running on top of your app. So, if I load say 20 megabytes from MySQL, in the task manager the RAM for the application goes up by about 25 megabytes. Then when I close the connection and try to dispose the ByteArray, the RAM never frees up. However, if I use System Total Memory, Flash Player shows that the memory is being released, which is not the case. The player is releasing the memory. If you minimize the window and restore it, you should see that the memory is now much closer to what System Total Memory shows. You might also be interested in using FlexBuilder's profiling tools, which can show you if you really have memory leaks. Use ByteArray clear as per the language reference. This clears the contents of the ByteArray and resets the length and position properties to 0. Calling this method explicitly frees up the memory used by the ByteArray instance.